Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hello and welcome to another evening alongside of the Formula Racing Group. Tonight, we're going to be seeing Formula 4 Esports action live from the Sachsenring, all the way over in Oberlangwitz, Germany. This place has played host to a number of very, very important races over the years. MotoGP action still comes here today, and these machines will be taking to the track in anger as they do in the real world as well. It's lovely, it's picturesque, it's got a fast-flowing section, it's got rises, it's got falls. The Sachsenring is a beautiful track, and we were here not too long ago for FRG racing action in the Formula Ford. Only just a couple weeks ago. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to bring you the racing action here tonight. Scott Rankin alongside of Dave Roberts. And Dave, we're in a qualifying from the Formula 4 round here. It's the thing that looks like the Formula 4, just with a few extra wingy bits all around it.
Yeah. These things aren't too bad. I've actually started to become quite accustomed to them, Scott. I'm starting to like them.
I was going to say, you weren't big on them last year, but there's been really starting to grow on you.
It's the sound that gets me, but they're really suited to here. They do run quite a few F4 races here in Germany at Sachsenring in real world. So it's and it's a good circuit. It really suits them. So the boys are hard on it. And, there's a couple of spots there. Turn 8 under the bridge at Turn 8. There's a lot of people running wide, and a lot of incidents have happened there in practice and qualifying. And also there between Turn 5 and 6, the Sternquell is right over the crest of a rise. And as you go over it, the back end of the car gets really light just as you're trying to get on it, and it sort of steps out. So there are a couple of spots to really watch. And I think overtaking 12, 13, 1, that's about it.
But a lot of opportunity for mistakes to be made in other sections of the track is the big key. It's just got so many different elements. I can see as well Daniel McCrowan step back behind the wheel of racing cars as well. We had him here in Formula Ford last series as well. Kane Kugamiya is back, and we'll have updates and stats on a few of the drivers up and down the field, including Kane, as we progress throughout the evening. Ian Xu hasn't qualified all that well. He did actually qualify right at the pointy end last week, but it is as it is, unfortunately, for him tonight. But that is the format that we're looking at for the F4A Sport racing action here tonight. 10 minutes of qualifying and 4 laps. We've got just over a minute left to run in that. 20 minutes of a race. It's a fixed setup. That means that everyone is going to be on equivalent racing hardware. What does that mean for our drivers? Well, it means the only difference is what sits in between all 4 of those wheels, and that will set the standard. Championship standings coming our way. Daniel McCrowan last week was quick. He got it out to the pointy end of things, and he disappeared down the road. Everyone else was chasing him, and they wanted to squabble over it. That denied them any opportunity to go in pursuit. Ian Xu managed to pick up a nice second place, and Ocean Coliangelo was on the podium as well. Kugamiya just barely missed out on that one. Schweikert got home in 5th, although it was a feisty pack in that 5th, 6th, 7th. Dreyer from Depp, Stoddart, Raymakers, and Gretsch. Rounds out that.
We've got quite a few new names on the grid tonight too, Scott, and a few missing, like Schweikert's not there on the grid, so that's a bit disappointing with such a good opening round for him. But here's some new people, lots of new people, which is always good to see. And if you want to be a new person too, all you've got to do is turn up and try and pre-qualify. Join the FRG Discord, register for the series, and go see if you can qualify. It's pre-qualifying on a Sunday night, so the fastest 30 from pre-qualifying and then selected to come or invited to come and do the race on the Monday night. So yeah, don't sit there and watch, get involved.
You know what I like about sitting in the comms box though, Dave, is the fact that I can sit here and say, yeah, I'd be good enough to be right up at the pointy end of things.
I'm not.
And I don't have to prove that at all. That's what I like about it. Ethan Morris is going to take pole position after Daniel McCrowan won last week's race. McCrowan will also sit on the front row on the Team Max Boost entry. Leo Dreyer and Kane Kugamiya are going to make up row number 2. This one is going to be an interesting row to watch, given the fighting that went on for third place last week. Aiden Kale and Oshan Colangelo. Can Oshan go back-to-back and pick up 2 podiums from 2 weeks? That will be the big question. The other driver that finished on the podium last week sits on row number 4. Ian Zhu, a little bit of work to do from 7th on the grid. Jim Stoddart alongside in 8th. Jason Depp and Ben Ryder are going to round out our top 10. And then we'll throw it back to Nathan Favero from Josh Marsh in 11th and 12th. Chris Barnes and Willie Blair are going to be on row number 7, and we'll get back to row number 8, where we'll find James Raymakers and Tristan Yelland in the Neuro Power Machine. So Chris Barnes and Willie Blair on 13th and 14th is what we're looking at the moment. My apologies for that one. James Raymakers and Tristan Yelland out on row number 8. Row number 9, Kyle Halzel and Matthew Bakir, 17th and 18th. Row 10 will be Reese Rolland and Ashley Cutchy. Ronald Long will be the first car outside of the 20, alongside of Adrian Gretsch on row number 11. Row number 12 will be Sam Regensburger and Florentino Aguilera. Eric Aguilera didn't have a great race last week. Be looking for an improvement this time. John Wade from Daniel Coleman, 25th and 26th. 27th and 28th is going to be Paul Thompson and Lee Peckham. Good to see Paul Thompson getting among racing the OJ Gear Esports machine. And finally, our back row of the grid will be Martin Lipsky, and I believe there might be Dwayne Watts in the server as well, but not setting a qualifying time. Righto, to the pointy end of things, though, we'll keep our eyes, because here come the lights. Revs will start to rise. Round number 2 of the Formula 4 Australian Esports Championship, and we are going to be green from the front end of the field. Not a great getaway from Ethan Morris. McCrowan's got the better start from the front row, and on row number 2, it's going to be a huge launch from Treya, who's going to try and fire it down the inside. Will he get there? The door was left open by Morris, didn't cover it off. We'll try and keep the nose in, but he's going to lose out around the outside at turn 2. Then we get to the long flowing turn 3. Cold Sires lap 1 and a horde of F4s as they climb down through the lowest point of the first sector.
Yeah, people getting a bit sideways down through the little corkscrew on the way down the hill there. Now they're going over the top of the... Here we go. There we've got Josh Marsh there rejoining. We can see Josh is concentrating hard because he's made a little mistake there very early on. Yeah, so the climbs, the ups and downs here. There's somebody running very, very wide there. That's that under the bridge. Ian Zhu, I think it was. Very, very wide. That's that corner I said to look out for under the bridge. Really, really fast left-hander, and it's so easy to overdo it. Kugamiya in the silvery looking car, the pearly car there, looks like he even sounds like a racing driver, doesn't he? Hein Kugamiya.
Well, Kugamiya tries to slide up the inside at the final corner. He's trying to get to the inside of Aiden Kale and trying to pick that one off, but Kale's managed to hold the momentum around the outside. The difficulty for these guys, though, is they're already costing themselves the toe to the next few cars down the road. So Kale's going to get that one done on the run into turn number 1. Someone was wide at turn 1. It's going to be, I believe it's our race leader, McCrowan. A little bit of contact, though, as Ian Zhu tried to slide down the inside of Kugamiya. So these two fought it out last week, and was Zhu that came out on top on that occasion. And, well, Kugamiya is going to be right there. He's got the lead out of those two at this point in time. Kale's done really, really well through the first sector. Just about put himself back into the draft. Ethan Morris is going to nick that spot back from Dreyer. So your top 3, McCrowan, Morris, and Dreyer. And here's this for deeper in the pack. This was on lap 1. Look at how many cars are 2 wide. They were 3 wide for a few moments. Round goes to 3.
Luckily, he's kept it off the fence. Car's straight. Plenty of time to catch back up and have some racing fun. So, yeah, these guys pushing very, very hard, getting very, very close, and you get too close and you sort of lose a bit of aero, so you've got to watch that as well from the guys behind. That's why when they come down to a corner quite often, they just try and stay out of right directly behind, and so you can see their car 16 just staying on the inside. Chris Barnes staying on the inside a little bit. 1, it gives him a better view down the track, and 2, it gets a bit of air running over those wings. So, yeah, this is a good drive and a big steep climb here up out of the last corner, up over the start finish line, heading down towards turn 1. Turn 1's a tricky beast. It's as you turn in, camber falls away, it goes into off camber, and it's so easy to overshoot. And it's also a great place if somebody can make a mistake, you can nick up that inside,
Well,
like just happened there.
I was just about to say as well, that run down to turn number 1, and there's a little bit of a dip, a small rise, and then the fall again. So it's got a whole bunch of different banking and changes there. Somebody around at the rear end of the field, Martin Lipsky's had some sort of drama.
Somebody else going slow, that might be a slowdown, I would suggest.
And Jason Depp trying to clear a slowdown, it looks like. So he, I think, might have been the driver that slotted down to the inside on that most recent lap. Matthew Bakir's had sort of drama as well. Might be hearing Dwayne Watts. There's a few cars parked in there behind.
Behind somewhere. We can hear him, but we can't see him. There's Martin Lipsky. It looks like he's parked it off the road there, waiting for a tow. And our leaders continue. They're just hauling away a little bit from Aidan Carl. They're just opening that gap. But Ethan Morris is staying well in Daniel McCrowan's toe and sitting right on the back of him, put some pressure on. Because that's all you can do. You just got to pressure the guy in front. Now, here we go. Whoa. Cars everywhere. And that's just... that's not good, not pretty, not what we want to see.
Trying to clear the road, it looked like, but either way, wasn't the best opportunity. So anyway, 10-second penalty for car 63 for an incident on lap number 1, which is going to be that of Adrian Gratch, who's unfortunately got himself a meatball flag and might be done for the day. But how's about this battle for 9th through to 14th? Ben Ryder sitting in contention in this one. There's a fair few drivers all bottled up quite close together.
Yes, Ben Ryder there.
Oh, hello.
Oh, what was that in the background?
It was Ocean Colliangelo who's sliding down the order at a rapid rate of knots. So something's just happened to the 75 Simsports driver.
Again, it's that tricky fast left-hander under the bridge. Quite often people run very, very wide, get a slowdown. Then you got to clear the slowdown.
Yeah, but that looked like there was more than that because it was just about parked up on the side of the road. Oh, I wonder whether or not there was a moment.
Now, there's a bit of a battle on at the front again. Oh, yeah, there we go. Round she went.
Well held in the end.
Nicely saved.
Yeah. Ethan Morris is going to try and go the long way around. Somebody else has just gone around, I believe, as well. It's Kane Kugamiya has gone around in turn 1, bouncing, I believe, over the curbs. So something's come unstuck at the rear end of that car. And Aidan Cale, by the way, has driven his way up to the back end of this pack, now in the tow. Yep. And Ian Zhu's managed to go with him as well. So it will become a 5-car train for the race lead here in a few moments.
As soon as they start attacking each other, Scott, and they start overtaking and battling for a position, they just lose time on the racetrack, and everybody behind joins the party.
In terms of joining the party, Aidan Cale all up and all over the curb, car bottoming out, not being very, very happy about that one, has managed to at least carry speed.
It's all flat across the top there, and it's really edgy, and the car gets a bit light and taily, and it's not fun to drive this circuit.
And the lap car that you're seeing down the road is going to be that of Matthew Bakir, who is on the lead lap right now, but when these guys catch up to him, will fall off of that lead lap, so he's got some work to do. Has not gone his way, unfortunately.
Looks like Morris got a really good exit there out of that last corner. He's right hard up on McCrowan again, but it's so hard to dive down the inside here, because if you do, it's so easy to just lock a brake, and next thing you know, you're wide and 3 or 4 cars are by. So really nice little run here. He's going to stay tight on and try and get a better run up the hill. So he's run a little bit wide, get on the power, try and drive this thing up the hill with a bit more speed, use a bit more road because he can. He doesn't have to protect because he's attacking. Out wide, not using all the road there, but this is that next corner is the one that keeps bringing everybody undone. This is a really...
This is a replay. What happened to Kugamiya? On running into turn 1. Switch back, so he's had another drama afterwards.
That really... Yeah, that wasn't really his fault. But, yeah. Oh, well, race control will be all over that one, having a look.
Yeah, so race control will be on top of that one for sure. We'll wait for their verdict. At the moment, McCrowan's still got Ethan Morris crawling all over him. Not really able to go anywhere.
Car 323, Martin Lipsky, has got a drive-through penalty causing an incident. That was that early opening segment of the race. So that sort of probably ruins his day.
New fastest lap of the race too. Aiden Cale now as he gets the triple toe.
Kugamiya's heading for the pits, I think.
Yeah, that's a wounded car for Kugamiya. Which is disappointing. I was actually going to say, has previously won a Scops Bathurst 1000, by the way, as well. So a driver certainly of some talent in multiple formats. But not unfortunately tonight for Kugamiya in the Formula 4.
It's good to see a few of the guys from the V8s and some of the GT series and whatever coming and having a go on the open wheelers, because there's a lot to learn driving an open wheeler. It's a different sort of beast, and there's a lot you can learn driving one.
Always challenge yourself to learn new skills is the big thing that these guys are always after, particularly at their level. Leo Dre is starting to look a little bit vulnerable, as is Ethan Morris, looking to try and take advantage of a run on Daniel McCrowan. McCrowan's going to slot it to the inside, try and cover that one off.
McCrowan sits his car very nicely on the road, Scott. He's always got the road covered. He doesn't dive over to the inside, block or anything, but he just seems to position his car very nicely on the road. But now he's not hard up against the left, but he's going to run down the right-hand side of the road and say, if you want to pass me, you're going to have to go the long way around.
Well, Aiden Cale's going to have a crack. They're both going to pinch brakes down at turn 1, and Aiden Cale tried to go the long way around, lost the rear as well. So all of the attempted moves going awry down in turn number 1. 3 of the front 5 make a mistake. And Zhu's now closed up to the back of these guys as well. This is going to present an opportunity. This is turning into a fun little battle pack.
Yeah, it's really, it's a 5 from the front now. So, liking the look of Dreyer. He's sitting there very, very calm and not really attacking, just sitting in his position. That's the big thing, is you got to just stay in position for that last little lap or two of the race, so that you can throw caution to the wind on those last laps and just try and really nail a pass and take the win. Because leading now, you get past again, you slow each other up. It's a good lesson in patience as a racing driver.
And Cale just tried to dip a wheel out and just show a nose as well. We look further back. Josh Marsh had an issue on lap 1. Somebody cutting a corner back there as well is also going to pick up a slowdown penalty. So he's in behind Josh Marsh. There's a few drivers deeper in the field, Dave, that have absolutely been on the move. I'm looking at Paul Thompson's up in a 14th spot. I think he qualified outside the top 20, so...
Yeah, he was, I think he was right back 28th or something, wasn't he? Yeah, plus 13 spots. There you go. Beautiful.
Aguilera's managed to make some ground as well, and Daniel Coleman and Lee Peckham. 3 of the 4 of those drivers, all plus double digits in terms of spots. So surviving lap 1, the big key for a number of the drivers that are a little bit deeper in the field. And a few of these guys sitting just outside the top 10 as well. Think about Ocean Coliangelo at the moment. Qualified quite well, was quick last week, finished on the podium, and unfortunately come a little bit unstuck all on their own over the curbing early on this week. But either way, for Ocean, race not over, and still continuing to try and press forward. Back up with our lead group now as we keep an eye on these guys. Morris a little bit further back, and Dreyer has got Cale a touch closer for company.
This really is, there's 5, and then how far have we got back from there? So it's about 5 seconds back to Jim Stoddard and 6. So these guys can really afford to have a bit of a go. They're not going to hold themselves up too much. That's a long way for Jim to close in. Here we go, another move down the outside into turn 1. Just don't think you're going to pull it off out there.
And the big key for a lot of these guys is that the race is now past the halfway mark. We're 12 minutes in of the 20, 7.5 to go, 7 3/4 to go at the moment. And that's going to bring opportunity with it as the aggression will start to come up. Cars are lighter now as well, so lap times potentially a touch faster.
Very, very close and tight at the front there. Ethan Morris absolutely piling on the pressure onto McCrowan. Piling it on. That was a little wide there. bowling a little wide there from Ian Zhu. So, but look at Morris. He's absolutely within inches, and he's just pouring it on, and he's sitting in the mirrors left and right. And here he goes down the inside.
Here we
big
go.
dive.
Oh, he got there, and he's going to make contact, and he's going to get drilled from behind as well.
Oh,
And they'll
dear.
go bowling as a part of that one. Dre is going to have damage to the front end of that car.
Yeah, I'm back out of there too.
The rest of them, unfortunately for Dreyer, he's going to try and hang on to this one. I can tell you, Aiden Kale's going to try and go the long way round on him, but there's damage to the front end now of the 70 machine of Dreyer. And he just felt it bubbling beneath the surface, and finally it boiled over. McCrellan's
Just a little touch.
escaped, and I do wonder whether or not Aiden Kale's actually okay, because he did cop a piece of it, but it wasn't a very large piece. But I certainly think Dreyer's got a bigger piece. So Kale has got a meatball flag, and somehow Dreyer does it.
Has gone round. And that's Morris crabbing into pit lane. Yep. So I think these boys are pretty much out of the race, Scott. I think you're going to find the pair of them, Morris and both out of the race, unfortunately.
Oh, they fought so hard, they fought so clean for such a long period of time.
And it was a pretty good move. Our director might see if he can find us a nice little replay of that that's maybe showed a little bit more of what went on. Here we go. Look, beautiful. Down the inside, it's a good move, and it's just got a touch sideways, and at the same time he touched the leader, and she was all over.
Was Dreyer coming through, and then it was just a touch to the right rear corner of the Aiden Kale car as well. Ian Zhu now cuts his way through, sits second on the road, so an opportunity for him to bank a bunch more points and go in pursuit. And Ocean Colangelo is starting to make some time on Willie Blair just ahead. Took 2.5 seconds on the most recent lap, so an issue for Blair, and I wonder whether or not Blair might just cede this one, and indeed looks like he will.
Yeah, I think there's a few people dived into the pit lane as well because they've obviously got issues and got to go and try and get the thing repaired. But there's no fast repairs in this, Scott.
Yeah, indeed. I'm pretty sure Aiden Kale just jumped on the mic to say, hey, I want that looked at if I can.
Yeah, so now let's have a look at the top three is Macron, Zhu, and Jim Stoddart, who's benefited nicely from all that disaster up ahead. Ben Ryder's up to fourth. Chris Barnes, old stager. Chris has done a lot of races with us, sitting there at fifth, keeping his nose clean. Leo Dreyer now dropped down to sixth. Nathan Fafero in seventh. James Raymaker's eighth. Milangelo's down to ninth. So she may have had another little bit of an issue. Ian Zhu just set the fastest lap. And Willie Blair's the last man in the top 10. So well done, Willie.
I'll have to keep an eye on Colangelo as well. Might be still starting to make some time. On the next car on the road, ran a near identical lap time. In fact, he was probably about Colangelo took about 3/4 of a tenth out of Raymakers. Not enough. It's a margin of about 2.5 seconds to Raymakers down the road. And that's probably the next battle that we'll keep you half an eye on. Ben Ryder is getting hunted down at the moment by Chris Barnes as well. And he's not too far adrift from Jim Stoddart. So these three cars will be fighting away potentially in the final couple of minutes for the back end of the podium. Stoddart's just found himself all of a sudden gifted a podium, but he'll take it when they come.
Now, Zhu's only half a second off the back of Macron, so Daniel may have thought, oh, well, after all that, I've got a little bit of clean air. No, pressure is still on. So working hard on the back of him and trying to put some more pressure on him. Half a second's not much, a little bobble and it's over. And then there's 9 seconds back to Stoddart in third. So it really is a race for two. Here's 3 abreast. That's probably not a good idea, boys. Vero around the outside. He'll have better exits. Oh! Bang. Hello, good morning.
And James Raymakers is going to be in the middle of this one now as well, as they are going to go 3 wide on the run into turn 1.
Oh, and a lock brake just to top it off.
And Colangelo is just off the back of this one and starting to make bulk time as they continue to fight through. Rainmaker's got through, sits 7th on the road. Favero managed to find a way through as well. And this is still the wounded machine of Leo Dreyer trying to hang on to points. With the small amount of time that we've got left, there's going to be 2 more laps, I think, after this one. Just enough time, and I mean just enough time to get those extra laps in. So Dreyer really struggling with the front end of that car, and that just continues to buy Colangelo back in. So there could be 3 more spots before the back end of the race for Colangelo. This is huge, huge opportunity for Ashan to drive themselves back to potentially 6th spot, but got to clear this wounded Dreyer car as soon as possible.
Yeah, the Dreyer car, I'm on board with him now on another monitor, and it's not, the steering wheel's straight, but he's obviously carrying some damage because the car's not very quick in a straight line. And it's obviously wobbling around a bit in the corners, but the steering wheel's actually straight ahead, which is unusual. So he's dropped that spot.
And there's enough time here for actually 2 more laps, so remember, all based on the leader, and the leader was well and truly through. Another big bubble down at turn number 1. It's Ben Ryder trying to hang on to this machine and fight away with Chris Barnes.
I thought it was our leader for a minute, running their teammates, the pair of them, with the same Max Boost livery on. Looks very good too, very nicely presented, boys. Dreyer's doing an awesome job considering that car's as damaged as it is. I think he's doing a fantastic job to just be able to stay in the race. He's still there and he's hanging on to 9th place. I don't think he's going to hold it. No, he's pulled out of the way. Oh no, he hasn't pulled out of the way. He just hasn't got, the car's got nothing. But he's doing a good job. Keep it on the road. If you get past now, there's another 4 or 5 seconds back to the next guy, so you might be able to hang on in the top 10. That'd be nice to see.
Yeah, and again, I have to tell you that Raymakers has just sent a big old dive bomb down the inside of Favero as well, so these two are going to squabble over it as they get to the final corner, and there'll be 1 more lap left to run when they cross the start-finish line. They will receive the white flag this time by, and they're fighting, and Colangelo is buying their way back into this one. So it is going to be a 3-way fight just outside the draft range at the moment as they compromise each other on the run down to turn number 1. They fight over it. Once again, Raymakers will skate on through, but Colangelo now buys into the draft and is in with a shot at winning this one. McCrowan's just managed to get that margin out over a second. Looks comfortable at about the halfway point on the lap as well. So going to win that one. Stoddart's managed to maintain enough of a margin over Chris Barnes, and Ryder's not able to do anything to bring it back. So it's these 3 we keep our eyes on. And after dramas early for Oshan Colangelo, driving their way back through the field. And she can get to the point whereby she leads this battle pack very wide now for Raymakers as he runs off the wall.
Oh, that'll be a slowdown.
Slow down, and he's going to be very, very slow as well, and again off the track. So again having problems. That's checked up for Vero. Here comes Colangelo. He's going to try and cut their way through, looking for a little bit of a toe assistance out of the final corner. Race leaders. But now around the outside, Oshan's trying to hang on to that one. He's got the momentum now. Wilson managed to nick the spot, gets up to 7th spot. 1 more opportunity at the final corner. Won't have enough time to get the Raymakers, but gets the drive out of the final corner. Looks for a little bit of a toe. Will finish in 7th spot. How about the battle on the final lap of the race from those 3 as well? And there's been a change for 9th and 10th. Blair finally got the job done on Dreyer into the final couple of corners. Now we'll keep our eyes on Josh Marsh a little bit further back as he fights through the final couple of sectors. Fought his way down to, unfortunately, 19th for Josh Marsh, but now he's crawling all over the back end of Ethan Morris. These 2 are trading like you wouldn't believe after both of them have had a trip through the pit lane by the looks of it for damage on both cars. Unfortunately for Marsh, the long way around didn't quite get the car tipped in. Morris will nick that spot and move his way up into 18th on the final lap of the race, but well fought between the pair of them, and you can just see a little bit of the handiwork there. Overcorrection from Josh Marsh. Grimace on the face, ran it hard all the way to the end, and will just barely miss out.
Yeah, that was a not happy last lap, but yeah, some good racing. And I'm sure later on he'll say I enjoyed that.
Well, race winner 2 weeks in a row, Daniel McCrowan started to put his stamp of authority on this championship. he'll be certainly very, very happy with another one. And that was not easy. He got fought a long way through that race, but will take 2 race wins.
No, he's got to be looking towards the next few weeks and going, gee whiz, if they all come back, have I got a fight on my hands? Because it was such a pity there that Ethan Morris just happened to lost the back end of the car a little bit. Such a pity, because I was really looking forward to seeing those 5 fight right to the end.
Yeah, phenomenal racing from all of them, and that's going to change up the championship standings as well. Top 2 will maintain their position in the championship because they finished first and second for both weeks here. In terms of things, Andrew managed to get that margin down to less than a second at the line. Jim Stoddart managed to get home with 3rd spot, but he lost a little bit of time on that last lap, come down to 0.6 of a second as well. So Chris Barnes drove his way back into that one. Ben Ryder did manage to take a little bit more time out of Chris Barnes. Raymakers gets home in 6th, managed to nick those spots from from Ferrero on the final lap. Ferrero lost 2 spots on the last lap of the race. Willie Blair and Leo Dreyer round out your top 10. Outside the 10, Florentino Aguilera drove a phenomenal race to go and take a whole bunch of spots. John Wade from Aiden Cale, unfortunately for Cale with that damage, was looking racy, was very quick, very early on, managed to take a fastest lap of the race. Lee Peckham from Reese Rolland, Paul Thompson slips down to 16th late on in that one. Daniel Coleman, Ethan Morris and Josh Marsh, that battle we saw in the final lap of the race, and Jason Depp outside U20. All the guys back here having some sort of drama throughout the course of their race. Outside of the thing.
That was a good start to the evening, Scott. Hey.
Yeah, it was indeed. Interesting racing action. A disappointment for Kane Kugamiya as well, who definitely had pace to get through in that one. And I wonder whether or not we will actually get Jim Stoddart available. Not even sure if he knows that he's actually up for an interview at this point in time. Either way, finishes 3rd. We'll chat to our race winner quickly first. And Daniel, that one was a challenge. There was a little bit of a fight there with Ethan Morris and a little bit of contact in the middle of that one, but that was ahead of 5 cars that were chasing you down this week. Certainly a little bit more exciting than last week.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't my fault. I thought it might have been a bit of netcode when he went spinning off there, but yeah, I'll be keen to look at that. But yeah, the heart rate's up. I need to be.
Yeah, mate. Certainly looked like an interesting battle in terms of things. Didn't quite catch. I think Race Control might have actually deemed it no further action in terms of the way that they looked at it. But you know, it's aggressive, right? Somebody's going to send a move on you at any point in the race, and unfortunately for Ethan, it just came unstuck.
Yeah, me and the Ryder brothers have done a lot of practice this week of where you can and can't overtake and defend, and yeah, that really paid off. But that was one of the areas you can overtake, but yeah, you just didn't manage to get it done.
Mate, in terms of things, next week we are heading to Laguna Seca, so up and down, uphill and then down through the corkscrew. She's a challenging old circuit, particularly when the car has all of a sudden a multiple story drop to get through. That's a challenge for anything.
Yeah, I'll probably be in the minority and say it's not one of my favourite tracks, so yeah, I'll have to put in some work this week and see how I go.
Mate, look, I'll join you in that. It's one that challenges me as well. Congratulations on the race win tonight. Who would you like to thank?
Just my teammates, the Ryder brothers, and you guys for putting on such a great event. I love it.
Thank you very much for your time, Daniel, and we'll see you again next week, brother.
Thank you, mate.
We'll step 1 spot further forward in terms of the podium standings. 1 stop further back, and we'll be chatting with Ian Zhu. Ian, that one sort of landed in your lap a little bit. Qualifying certainly didn't go your way. You were on the back foot, but it was about tagging onto the back end of that pack early on. You managed to do that, and that's why opportunity came your way.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. I didn't have the 1 lap pace compared to the other guys with this track and this combo, and I had a pretty messy couple of laps in the beginning of the race as well. But, you know, just sitting behind, hoping for something to happen, and something did, and yeah, I grabbed my chance and went for it. Well, I guess went for the inside of the track to avoid the incident in this case.
Mate, in terms of things at the moment, sitting pretty, 2 weeks, 2 second place finishes. Yeah, look, last time out the Formula 4, the championship sort of got away from you a little bit, but this time out, you're right there and you're right amongst it once again. But you're going to have to take something to Daniel McCrone to knock him off. Could it be next week at Laguna Seca?
Yeah, hopefully. Because I was quite happy with my pace towards the end of the race. It's always the beginning of the race that I have to manage. It's always pressure that gets onto me. So hopefully I'll be able to deal with that. And it looks like there's quite a few fast guys joining the series as well. So another more pressure onto me, I guess.
Mate, finally, floor is all yours. Who would you like to give a thank you to this evening?
Once again, for the great event, for the organizers and for the commentators, and thank you for Vermilion Motorsport once again for supporting me and congratulating me. And yeah, well, just thank you everyone for the clean racing as well.
Mate, congratulations on another podium, and we'll see you again next week from Laguna Seca.
See you next week. Thank you very much.
Righto, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to step away for just a few moments. Time to jump between the servers. We skip over from the sport guys, and we're going to jump in with the pro guys, the guys that had to qualify their way in, the best and brightest of Australia's Formula 4 drivers. Who is going to stand on top from the Sachsenring? Coming your way in just a few moments.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.
Racing 24 will be available September 17th. Pre-order your copy today.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Weekend in, weekend out, Motorsport Australia officials are making waves. From waving flags, waving cars through pit lane, or responding to a wave for help. Wave hello to new lifelong friends. Who knows, you might just make waves around the world. Ride the first wave. Search Motorsport Australia officials today.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for bearing with us through a short break in proceedings. Across to the pro server it is now, and the fastest Formula 4 races in Australia. Time for them to attack the track in anger. Open setup time, and that means the equivalent machinery goes out the window. The only thing that's equivalent is the car and the package. How the drivers set that up is now in their own hands. 30 minutes to go racing as well, and we're expecting a pit stop for fuel, but a safety car may be enough to tip the balance over the other side. Could some fuel-saving strategies be employed here tonight? That is the big old key. Dave Roberts, we've already mentioned how much we liked racing at this track the first time around in the Formula Fords, and the F4s have been no different here tonight. What are we expecting from the pro drivers?
Well, same thing, just a lot more of them, a lot closer to the front, because the times are incredibly close again, Scott. They're just, these guys are, every one of them is capable. Probably you've got 10 or 15 guys who are capable of winning the race in there. Just super fast, but they're all driving really, really hard, really on the edge, and there's going to be a few mistakes made out there, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be the challenging thing. Ben Roberts sits second place in terms of the standings at the moment, but right now no tow to work with, so he'll be out there setting a lap time all on his lonesome. Could that end up working out his way? Well, we're going to have to find out as the session continues, because there is only one way to find out. You'll need to run the fuel down as well. Damon Woods has already jumped up and sits on top of the pecking order, as you'd just about expect, but it's less than a tenth of a second that has him on pole position at the moment. And Byron Phillips just went around in turn one as well, so... And fast qualifying session. 2 minutes left on the session now. Rattray White sits down in 13th.
Yeah, that's out of position, and Job is back down the list a bit as well. So we've got a couple of the guys who were really at the front last week are struggling a bit this week. So where's Job?
Job currently sits 10th on the road. So
there you go. Yeah, so Job Stewart 10th. Now, last week he was right at the front, so he's obviously having a little bit more trouble getting this car. It's a real balance issue. You got to really, it's like being a ballerina out there. You got to just incredible balance of the car, so that when you lift off, it just changes direction, get that beautiful rotation. That's the secret to a fast lap round here, and it's really hard to get the car just right, because these guys got open setup too, so they'll be working together. Kalen Chin on a very, very quick lap here.
Right, so this will be an opportunity for him to improve, potentially move towards the front of the standings. And he will have some work to do. Damon Woods' session is over, by the way. He is in pit lane, so there will be no improvement for Damon Woods. The thing will be is Ben Roberts got the time to potentially improve. Chin didn't actually manage to improve massively on that lap, so it was an improvement, but it was only about 3/4 of a tenth of a second, so he didn't improve much. It wasn't enough to improve the position. He's got on track just ahead of him, offering the tow Hayden Millington and Matthew Hensford Taylor. Kane Ryder does improve on that time. Isaac Becker also in the pit lane as well. I was just seeing, I thought for a moment, whether or not our current prospective pole sitter was actually back out of the lane. Ben Roberts is searching for a tow, I think, down in the final sector, so I think he's gearing up for one more lap, or he's cooling the tyres after having another crack. Job Stewart was quick and has improved to 7th spot, but that'll be the end of his session. There won't be enough time for him to start another lap. Roberts, he's going to have a crack at this one, so get an opportunity to see if he can improve. So he'll be starting on this lap. 10 seconds left in the session, and there is a couple of cars coming out of the final corner who'll be looking to try and start a lap. 3, 2, 1, and we'll start seeing checkered flags for a few different drivers. So all of these guys, this is their final qualifying attempt. Kalen Chin has a teammate get out of the way for him. Is it going to be an improvement? It is for Kalen Chin, goes all the way to 3rd place. So gets all the tow that he necessarily needs. Bumps Kane Ryder down one spot. Ryder's going to stay on the second row of the grid for the moment. Vaughn Ryder gets out of the way whilst trying to assist brother Kane Ryder, and Kane could be on front of the flyer. Now he's going to lose the benefit of the tow though in the final couple of sectors, so we'll see whether or not it's going to be good enough from him. Final corners will have a touch more downforce, but it'll be a touch slower out of that one. Does not improve on that lap, so will jump out of the way. So stays on the second row for now. Ben Roberts is in the final couple of sectors, doesn't have a toe, which is quite crucial for him, but he is improving on his previous laps. Now he is going to pick up just a whiff of a toe from Geordie Slater just up the road from him. Slater in 18th will be trying to improve on his final lap, has a wiggle through the final couple corners as well. Roberts will get a toe to the line. Tries to stand on it, does improve, 4.81, goes to P1! Final lap of the session, and Nick's pole at the death.
That's beautiful to see when that happens, isn't it? I always love that the pressure of that last lap, and you got a good one going, and you can't make a mistake, and you just got to do it. It's great to see, and I love it. So well done, Ben Roberts. That was an excellent, excellent performance.
I think the biggest thing out of that one is Ben Roberts certainly put it on pole without much of an assistance as well in terms of toe touch in the final sector, which means he will improve to be our pole position driver for tonight. Damon Woods will miss out on getting pole for the first time in a long time. How about that? He's going to start on the front row, though. Will only be 400ths of a second further back. Kalen Chin on row number 2. Chris Mitchell at the dying stages of the second did manage to jump up here and bump Kane Ryder off of the second row. So he will start alongside of Kalen Chin. Ryder now moves back onto row number 3 alongside of Isaac Becker. Becker set that time early on the session. He was actually in the pit lane for an extended portion of that session, but that will mean he's got a little bit more time to get himself ready to go for the race. On row number 4, though, it's going to be out of 7th spot. That of Hayden Millington and Tyler Kaleha, who are 7th and 8th on the grid. Throw it back over to Job Stewart, who was 2nd place last week, sits all the way back down in 9th spot at the moment. Dylan Burst will line up alongside of him. On row number 6, it's going to be Matthew Hansford-Taylor and Zach Rattray-White. Rattray-White found some time, but not enough to jump a significant way forward. Danny Davison is going to be out of 13th, and alongside of him, Fawn Ryder will be 14th, 7th row of the grid. Chase Saxild and Seth Burchart's going to be out of the 8th row of the grid, 15th and 16th. Callum Newton from Geordie Slater will be on the 9th row of the grid, 17th and 18th. And remember, we're only just outside of it, half a second back off of pole here. 19th is going to be Jordan Mazzarelli, be disappointed qualifying this far back. Sebastian Vandel will be alongside of him. Both of those guys will not be happy with their qualifying performance. We'll step 3,000ths of a second further back to Eddie Beswick, stay inside of the 1 second, and have a look at these guys. 1/1000th of a second apart. Alexander Wilson will start alongside of him. We'll go a couple thousandths further back and stay inside 1 second, all the way down to 23rd on the grid. First car outside of that margin, Byron Phillips on 24th. Alongside of that, inside of row number 13 is going to be 25th place Alex Beswick. Corey Bennett will line up alongside of him. Nothing between these guys as well. 27th is going to be Risha Banerjee, who made a great job driving through the field last week. And Mitchell Albert will round out the final starter off of 28th spot on the grid here today. How about that? 23 cars covered by less than a second, Dave?
It's pretty close, isn't it? And it's a difficult circuit. It's so easy to lose time around here. So that's really impressive.
Yeah, I think that'll be a stat that we'll be looking at throughout the season, is how many cars we can get inside that 1 second marker.
And we get a whole field.
Yeah, potentially. 5 seconds before we'll get into our starting phase now here tonight. 30 minutes worth of racing action. The drone shot's going to show us all the racing action on the run down to turn number 1. The revs will start to rise. Who's going to get the launch? Roberts got the pole position. Can Damon Woods challenge him on the run down to turn number 1? The 2 World Championship licensed drivers who are competing internationally in these cars. And it is going to be Ben Roberts who got the better getaway. But it's nearly alongside as Damon Woods on the run down to turn number 1. Woods will lunge.
Down the inside.
And Roberts will give him the room to do so, looking to try and get it away. Chris Mitchell gets to the inside on 3rd spot, managed to hang on to it most of the way through. Now we'll start to lose the spot, gets the inside back when they get down to turn number 3. We'll try and settle it alongside of Kalen Chin. Bit of a bobble though there on cold tyres for a number of drivers and action in the background.
So Mitchell's actually nabbed 3rd place. That's for, oh no, it's Sebastian Vandel. Chris Mitchell nabbed 3rd place off Kalen Chin. That was a nice, decisive little move. He just hung on around the outside and got his nose down the inside on the big sweeping right-hander. And that's Roberts very, very wide on his entry. He runs right outside the curb on the entry point. I've tried that, but the bump upsets me too much. Wide. He's so good through there. So,
too wide. Kane Ryder was outside of the track boundaries. Matthew Hansford-Taylor tried to sneak down the inside. It was Zach Rattray-White was the meat in the sandwich as they ran through wide, down through 9 and 10. Ryder ran off track, picked up a little bit of slowdown, picked up the gravel, lost a couple of spots. Now he'll slot back in just outside the top 10 in 11th spot. Have a look at the queue that's forming up in behind him as well. In the meantime, Rattray White's got to nick 3 spots to move himself inside the top 10 on lap number 1. Moves himself up to 9. Qualifying pace for the Brazilian Sim Sports driver, not brilliant. Joe Stewart's grabbed a bunch of spots as well. The run out of 10 on 1 throws a late dive back down to the inside of Isaac Becker. And this is why these guys are the pro drivers around. Goes Kalen Chin up ahead. Did he take someone with him? Yeah, he's taking a few cars, Job Stewart included.
Oh, and there's a spin the car round.
Mitchell's gone around as well.
Oh, dear, oh dear. That turn 1, it is such a tricky little corner. This is left Roberts and Woods way out in front. They've got a 3-second lead nearly over Dylan Burst back in 3rd, and it's lap 2. What a pity.
Looking at the overtaking move and the attempt from Job Stewart to try and get down the inside on Becker, and it left him with just about nowhere to go because the rear end, unfortunately, the car up ahead of him just came around. And you're right, it has left these two pretty much isolated out on their own island. So it'll be David Woods from Ben Roberts at the moment. Roberts is sitting there clearly saving fuel because why not? He's got no one pressuring him at the moment. So he's going to look to do that. And Damon Woods will be left to punch the hole in the air, and the rest of them will go in pursuit. And this is the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, unfortunate for Chris. He just about got through. And unfortunately, it was Kalen who lost the rear end of that car on the run into turn number 1.
Yeah, no. What a pity. What a pity, because it's ruined our race at the front, unfortunately. But, you know, that's motor racing, I suppose. Now, I'm noticing Damon Woods in a completely new livery in the Falcon tyres. Is it Falcon tyres on that car? I'm guessing he's picked up a bit of sponsorship, Scott.
Door Esports is the team that he drives for internationally. He's done a really successful job qualifying for the Formula 4 Esports Championship through iRacing, the FIA 4 Challenge, and has managed to qualify internationally. But no, those are just his Door Esports colours. So just a regular sponsorship. That's the colours he normally runs under internationally. Locally, runs with the Eclipse SimSport boys.
But unfortunately, that's really upset about that. I was looking forward to that battle up the front so much. Anyway, so be it. Dylan Burst, 3.1 seconds back off the leader now. So he's dropped a couple of tenths on them, but he sort of got 8 tenths back then to Hayden Millington. Hansford Taylor is sort of pressure on, and then comes the pack. So now we're riding here with Roberts. You can see the car's moving over that little rise on the entry to that turn 1. Roberts trying to really put some pressure on Damon. We know Damon's really good under pressure, but Roberts going to do everything he can to pressure a mistake out of Woods, and only needs one.
Only needs one indeed, and it's not much of...
Falcon tyres on the side.
Yeah, indeed it does. That is a new livery, so I'm seeing something completely different to what you're saying. So, yeah, there is an update to that livery there for Damon Woods, it looks like.
Because that's the livery he ran this week in the global championship. I think he had it looked like he had a Falcon tyres livery on. So anyway, that's interesting. We'll have to, if he gets on the podium, we can ask him, can't we, Scott?
Yep, certainly can. And continuing to have a crack though, Ben Roberts is trying to get a touch closer. They're having a look at that incident on lap number 2 because they absolutely do have to have a look at it.
Yep.
Given it's taken a couple drivers out of contention. Dylan Burst, in the meantime, leads the next train of drivers and sits in 3rd spot on the road. So that's where we look back to and have a look at them all. So they all feed through here. So it'll be Burst from Millington, Hansford, Taylor, and Zach Rattray White's up to 6th, so he's halved his starting position.
He's made a good move because what was he, 13th or something? He's back down the pack a little bit, and out of position compared to last week. So he's really made a great opening stanza to this race, and really stamped a bit of authority to say, I do belong back at the front. So and now who's he working on now? He's working on Hansford Taylor now. So
yep. So a few drivers having a crack at each other at the moment. Rattray White will try and continue to keep the pressure on the both of them.
it looks like poor Chris Mitchell, after such a fabulous qualifying effort, put himself on the second row, is out of the race, sitting in the pits and out of the race already. That's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, unfortunate for him, but in the meantime, Rattray White's going to make the most of it and try and push himself a little bit further forward.
Yeah, so he's
They're all packing up a little bit, aren't they, at the moment, Dave? It's just a matter of time. I reckon it's maybe next lap where they're going to get aggressive.
Yeah, look, Rattray White seems to get very good exit out of that last corner. He just gets a bit of a run, but I think he may be carrying a little more wing in the straight line or something, because he doesn't seem to have the straight line speed on Hansford Taylor. So, Hansford Taylor being one of the... is that round? That is Danny Davison.
Unfortunately for him, and that'll be a retirement.
Yeah.
He'll have no idea he's missing the rear end of that car at the moment.
No. That rear wing came off very easily, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. So it was Chase Axel clipped the back and took the rear wing off.
And not much that the young driver could do.
Danny's going, this thing's handling really bad. What's up with it? Mate, you've got no rear wing.
He'll jump out of the car and have a look at it.
Rattray White's got a bit of a run. Got a bit of a run up the hill as Hansford Taylor got a little bit sideways. But I was going to say, Hansford Taylor's part of the Eclipse group, and those guys all work together to develop their sort of setup. So they've got 3 or 4 or 5 guys working on it. Gives them a little bit of an advantage, but it's really good to see Rattray White sort of taking it to them. It's good to see Benny Roberts taking it to the Eclipse boys. Chase Axel also in pit lane. That's Chris Mitchell's teammate. That's not a good start. It's a good start for the race, guys. Unfortunate. There we go, Rattray straight through.
A little bit of an error from Hansford Taylor at turn 1. Presented the opportunity, and now Rattray White has gone through. So, whilst the setup might be trimmed a touch more and quicker in a straight line, there is clearly issues with looking after the tyre and managing to maintain that stability. We did see a little bit of that earlier on from Damon Woods. I wonder if they're not all running on the same setup as well, because that is nearly the same way Damon Woods' car was behaving.
Yeah, I think looks like they've got it trimmed out a little bit, but it is a tad taily, because I saw Matthew Hansford Taylor up over here got a little bit wiggly and a little bit loose in the rear. The car looks a little bit loose, so that can help with the rotation, but you've got to be very, very careful, because it's really easy to make a mistake and lose a lot of time. And see there through that fast corner, Rattray White certainly got a little bit more grip.
Kane Ryder's started to come back to these guys a little bit now as well. Sits 7th on the road, and an opportunity for him to keep moving forward. And this is the view from Tyler Kaleha, who is in behind Kane Ryder. Sits 8th on the road at the moment for the 5.8 Motorsport machine. Not quite close enough for any of them to do much down at turn number 1. Rattray White's actually making a fair bit of a time gain now he's got that job done on Hansford Taylor. Took about a tenth and a half on the run down through turn 1. Lost a touch in straight line speed, but it's right here that he's very, very quick. So you might be right, Dave. There might be a touch more downforce, or at least the grip on this car is quite good.
And that little extra downforce means the car won't be sliding around on the road so much. So it'll probably wear its tyres less, so he'll have better grip as well. It's definitely the way I would have looked to set the car up if it was me, looking for that little bit of extra grip. Straight line speed is great for overtaking, but you don't have to overtake in a straight line if the guy in front makes a mistake. There's pressure on here.
It's getting a little bit closer now for Kaleha, who is just about underneath the rear wing of Kane Ryder. Kane's going to make him to go the narrow way down as they get down here at turn number 12. Didn't get his way through, and now they both get checked up. So run through the final corner, and now Kane Ryder will manage to get that car and the drive off down the start finish straight, manages to eke that margin back out and gets a little bit more protection. And this is the view forward as we keep half an eye on what the cars down the road are doing. Oh no, this is front and rear pictures. So right on board with Kaleha at the rear in the bottom picture, and you were riding on board with Kane Ryder in the top picture. Took me a moment to figure that one out, but glad we got there.
Yeah, I was confused. and then you just confused me more.
Yeah, no, so we solved it in the end. It was the two cars we were watching battling away. Those two. Yeah, right there.
That's right. It was nothing new. I didn't know who I was with anyway. I'm noticing here, Ratway White is now really starting to pile some pressure on Millington, and he's sort of got in touch with him. And I think in the next lap or two, we're going to see a move here. And I think Ratway White's got the pace to get past Burst as well. So, yeah, it's a long way to go. They've got a pit stop to make as well. But I'm liking the feel. I don't want to hex him, but I'm liking the feel of Ray White on the podium tonight.
Hayden Millington just made a mistake, missed the apex down there at 12 as well, so Rattray White's going to get a touch closer, and I did actually hear him on the clutch as they ran down into 12, so he was trying to fuel save and make the apex. Now Millington's missed another apex. A little bit of a draft is going to go the way of Rattray White, but it's going to be the long way when they get down to turn number 1. Millington will get the opportunity to cover to the inside, will dive it deep down on the anchors. Rattray White was trying to get back underneath him, but very well blocked up. That is how you check a move back up and control the pace, control the slice and the dice. Good offense, good defense as well.
Yeah, that was very nice defense. Oh, bit sideways there. Now he's okay because he's in the right part of the road that he can contain that, but that's where, you know, just overstep the limit a touch and see how much he's lost. He's lost 4 or 5 car lengths, so yeah, wow.
Yeah, so loses a few opportunities to go back after Hayden Millington.
That was a really, really nice bit of driving from Millington. The way he didn't block. He just put his car in the middle of the road in the right place, and slowed up at the apex and made sure nobody could come down the inside of him. It was really intelligent driving. But I do see this, that Ratway White seems to have that little bit extra pace, doesn't he?
He does at the moment. He's certainly driving the car nice and accurately. Look at the pace again. He carries off that final corner, and Burst again runs away a little bit from these two. So if they keep on squabbling like this at the moment, Dylan Burst is looking for it. Again, Millington's going to cover him, made one move. Now Rattray White slides it down the inside, gets late on the anchors, checks him up as well, and all of a sudden Hansford Taylor looks for the opportunity. They're going to bang wheels as they go through one. Back through the left-hander at 2, crosses over the draft, and Hansford Taylor is going to give a nudge onto Millington. Is he going to give him another little bit of contact? Tries to slide to the inside. Not really got any rights to that corner though, and that was cheeky. That was very cheeky from Hansford Taylor. He was looking to take opportunity. It was a very good thing Millington was watching the mirrors.
He's just getting a little bit of a touch up, just a little bit of a rub and a little bit of a touch. But what a beautiful move from Ray White down into turn 1. The way he braked, he absolutely nailed it. Dropped across the inside, nailed it down the inside, and pulled the car up beautifully. Didn't run wide, didn't get out of shape. That was a real passing move from the top shelf.
Yeah, and from Millington as well to defend, look after the car, and keep all running all at the same time. There's the overhead
down
shot.
The inside. And really nice way he's pulled it up in the middle, and real opportunism there from the red and white car, whoever it was. But it's a little niggle and a little touch and a little rub. That was really nice, really, really nice. Oh, that's done.
Oh, not anymore.
That's
goes Hansford Taylor. Tried the same move again, and this time there wasn't quite as much move.
And that is over the fence and out.
And this will tell the story, and I believe it was the same 2 cars yet again, because that is Hansford Taylor, and he tried the same move that he saw Rattray White have a go at, and there was a touch less space left for him. Well, didn't like having his pockets picked the first time, did Millington, and they were picked the second time.
It's interesting the way the car disappeared before it got over the fence. It just disappeared in midair.
I do believe he's made it over the barriers though, and will be automatically towed back to the pit lanes. Nothing Hansford Taylor could have done.
Yep, so these 2 guys having a very lonely little drive in the country, Sunday afternoon drive in the country by themselves. Now, Ratway White moves to lines up his next victim, Dylan Burst. Dylan's a hard customer, so that's
change for the lead too. Damon Woods
Wow.
is no longer leading, so Ben Roberts has gone down in there and managed to nick a spot, and nick a spot he has. This is the run.
Here
of
we
the
go.
final corner.
So again, down to the turn 1 by the looks of it. So is that a mistake from...
It's a big lift and coast from both of them. So these two have been playing fuel games the last few laps. So Roberts has been following and getting the benefit of all the draft and fuel saving at the same time. And they both went down to the turn 1. They both had a look at it, and then Roberts went, you know what? I might just slide down in here, and Damon's gone down. Well, I mean,
Glory.
he wants to be the guy that's following at the moment, and following exceptionally close he is right now. About as close as he can possibly get, but he's going to look back to the outside. So I think there were some games that went on here.
Yeah, so I'm not really understanding why they're fuel saving so much, only to put less in the tank, I suppose, really, isn't it? Because, they certainly can't do the race up without a fuel stop.
But again, Damon's not looking to take the lead. He's just going to save, and let Ben Roberts pull him around the track. So that one will continue on all the way to the pit stop. In the meantime, Zach Rattray White's doing exactly the same thing to Dylan Burst now that he's out of draft range to the cars behind. They can't harass him through the first sector. So therefore, an opportunity to do some fuel saving, and fuel saving he will do.
Yeah, so we've got, who have we got there? 5, 6 and 7, Miller, Kalea and Kane Ryder. And Geordie Slater there in 8th as well. That's a good little run from Geordie. Vaughan Ryder, a couple of spots back off his brother. And Isaac Becker. Now, Isaac was very, very quick in qualifying. There he is in 10th. So I think he's had some issues, but it looks like he's fighting back as well.
Remember, Becker was the driver that there was the car down the inside of and was caught up in all that bingle that went on between everything that went on with Chris Mitchell and Kalen Shipp.
And he could be carrying a little bit of damage. Now, when he does make a pit stop, if he has a little bit of damage, he'll probably lose that. So,
for you, Chris Saxfield and Chris Mitchell both managed to get out. Saxfield's now 2 laps down, Chris Mitchell 6 laps down, but still 20 laps. Tyler Kaleha's going to try and slide it down the inside. Millington now carrying himself a 10-second penalty.
Now, that's Kane Ryder into pit lane. First of the front runners, or reasonably front runners inside the top 10. The first of them to hit the pit lane for a pit stop. So we'll see. Interesting pit lane, this one, because it's quite a quick transition. There's it's not a long exit like we saw at Mazzano.
Yeah, and feeds back out basically in a straight line as well. So it's nice and tight on the run down through turn 1.
So how far are these two gonna go before they hit pit lane?
That will be the drama that we'll try and resolve. The front 2 drivers are going to be the drivers that go the furthest because they have been fuel saving the entire time.
Yeah, they're just running around. Damon's just sitting in his toe. Definitely Falcon tyres branding there, really well. Just running around gently, saving fuel. Ben Roberts has dived for the pit lane.
So he is going to change the script on this one. Dives into the lane with 10 minutes left on the clock. And I can tell you Millington is still battling away with Kaleha, and Kaleha's still not able to get that job done. And now it's brought Geordie Slater back into the argument as well. Slater's going to try and go the very, very long way right out around the outside. 3 wide on the run into turn 1. Millington's already been penalised for incidents at turn 1 tonight. Kaleha trying to slot back in. He's got to the inside at turn 2, but he's going to be on the outside when they get to 3. And what does Slater have to say about this one? They'll all feed back down in to one of the tightest sections on the circuit. They've all managed to get away with it as well.
Yeah, that as you come down that hill, it's 2 abreast for a little bit, but it really, really quickly narrows up, and there's not enough room. Now we've got to run here because
Millington with the apex at the crest of the hill got wide, and now he's going to get blocked out as well as Kaleha. They're all trying to feed in. Slater just about to get into the back, makes the gravel on the outside, will recover the car and continue on with this one, but loses a whole bunch of time.
And we'll probably pick up a slowdown, I would think, as well.
And now Kalea is going to swing to the right-hand side, try to go the long way around when they get down to turn number 12. So Millington has been the cork in the bottle for a very, very long time. He's already had contact once. He's going to have contact again with the inside corner. Sorry, the outside corner. Kalea blocks it all the way to the inside, but that's legal. Now gets turned for his trouble.
Well, you know, you block like that, it's sort of it's going to happen. If you do that, you're asking the. It's not right that he got hit from behind, but it happens when you block like that.
Sometimes you're better off. You don't need to block all the way to the edge of the track on the inside. You'll cover him and get the drive off and go the long way around at the final corner as well. So probably didn't necessarily need to do that.
No.
Okay, so we're going to get the majority of the rest of the field pitting. There's two drivers that have gone further. Damon Woods and Zach Rattray White are going to continue on. Burst has come to the lane. He's going to rejoin Corey Bennett and Tyler Kaleha. The other two are going to continue on. And Ben Roberts is the car that we sort of keep an eye on at this point in time. Reasonable in terms of lap time from Roberts as well. I just wonder whether or not he is making some time. Beswick's going to find the lane as well. So this is the driver that we're keeping half an eye on because we'll have to wait. Get the feeling Woods will probably pit this time by.
Yeah, it's a Rattray. Wow. Yeah, so there, Damon Woods, first sector of this lap, he purpled. So that's on his in lap, he's gone purple, which is fastest time of the race, or one of the sectors. So it shows he's absolutely put in a red hot in lap to try and get it ahead of Roberts in the pit exchange. But here comes Roberts up the main straight. Where is Woods at this point in time? Woods is coming out. Roberts has got him.
Yeah, he has absolutely got him. He's going to feed down the inside, gets the job done. Damon Woods is going to have to go the long way around at turn number 1. Is he going to break the toe? No, he's not. So Damon Woods will stay in the draft and will at least keep the fight alive. But he has been challenged this round, and he will be challenged for a race win. And Ben Roberts has got an opportunity now as he leads the way. Burst and Rattray White are going to continue to be locked together for the battle for P3. And Kane Ryder's managed to slide his way up into P5 as well. So advancement in multiple different places out on the track. A lot of changing position through this pit cycle. And keep your eyes ahead now because Woods has got the job to do.
Yeah, and if you look also, Burst and Rattray White, there's about less than half a second between them as well. So the great battle for first and a great battle for third. But Woods will have his head down, but I'm really impressed with Ben Roberts. Those out laps that he did when he came out of the pits must have been really on it. Otherwise, yeah, he wouldn't. There's no way he would have retained the lead. Look, here's the battle for third on the bottom here, and it's really hard. We've seen Rattray White. He's very, very aggressive under brakes, and he's pulled some beautiful moves. Let's see if he can find pull another one out of the box.
Well, now he's going to go and find the gravel second to last corner. Update from Tyler Kaleha, and I think we were sort of expecting this one was the incident with Millington. Picks himself up a 10-second post-race penalty.
Yep. So
that will adjust his standings, unfortunately, for both of those guys.
Well, what have they got? They got 5.5 minutes left, so there's a few laps left here. There's certainly enough time for all sorts of things to happen, eh, Scott?
Certainly is. We're at least going to get 4 more laps, I get the feeling, so really tight. Kalea loses a spot to Millington, so the two drivers have already come to blows.
They're still at it.
Together.
They're still at it. Let's just get a room, boys.
And now Damon Woods closes right up on
Ben
Roberts.
The back of Roberts.
And Roberts will probably cover this one a lot more now.
So we had another race here where there's been no safety car. So the boys are doing really well. It's nice to not have half the night wasted trundling around behind a slow sedan, but it's Ben Roberts covering nicely, but look, he's lost the drive out of there because Woods got wide, got a beautiful drive on the way out, but can he get round the outside? Because Roberts is pretty good.
Yeah, and he's going to try and go the very, very long way. Can Ben Roberts try and prop him up at turn 1? Has got the car pulled up nice and accurately as well. And they've got a good 8 seconds or so over Dylan Burst now, so there's going to be no opportunity unless they come to blows for Burst to get back into this one. which means it will be a 2-horse race at the front end of the field, and these two have not dropped each other off either.
No. So, that's... we got 2 battles. Can we keep the split screen? That's awesome. I don't know whether to look up or down. Do you, Scott? It's full on. They're both attacking, because they know they've got 4 or 5 laps left, if that. And they're really fighting. This is it, boys. Damon Woods is saying, I want to be on the top step, and I want that darn trophy. Don't get a trophy, but he wants a trophy.
He wants to be there at presentation night at the end of the year.
Yep, you got it. And Rat-Road White just wants to be back on that podium. He doesn't want to be the first guy who didn't make it to the presentation. So there we go. Big things on offer, and they're both driving their heart out, trying to improve their position.
Banerjee back into the pit lane, I think, as well. Is that his second stop? I don't think so necessarily for him, but certainly down to the tail end of the field. Indeed, it is actually his second stop for Banerjee, so might have been a front wing needed to be changed on that car. Either way, that'll take him out of contention and move him outside of our lead lap drivers. And
well, the first guy we're not looking at is Kane Ryder. He's about 3-4 seconds back off the back of Rat-Ray White. But Kane's had a great run tonight. He's come from former Ford. Oh, that's Hayden Millington again. He's had an eventful evening, hasn't he?
Yeah, so I have to find out what happened to Hayden Millington. Kalea's now run away from him, but I believe Kalea's starting to get run down by Seth Burchardt. So these two...
Woods trying around the outside.
He's got better drive now as well. So he's done it around the outside of the second to last corner. That's down at turn 12. Damon Woods will go ahead and nick that lead back. And he does want to win this one, Dave Roberts.
Ben Roberts is trying to say, how the hell did he do that? Because Ben is no slowpoke. I mean, you're talking about a guy who is in the top 20 in the world, and you drive around the outside of him.
Oh, he's just about got the front wing back underneath. He does get the front wing back underneath at turn 1. This will be to check up Damon Woods' thing down to turn number 2. Can't get it back there, but he is closer and close enough to potentially challenge in the final sectors as well. And this is a replay for Hayden Millington, and I wonder whether or not got involved in this one yet again.
Rat race through, and he's lost it. Oh, they're touching. He's back up the inside. I think he's got it back. He's got it back over the top, and he's back onto the podium. Rat-Ray White, what a drive tonight. He's had an absolute baller. He's come from the clouds and driven his way through the best in the business. So brilliant evening's driving.
Yeah, 12th on the grid for Rat-Ray White, finds himself now onto the podium, so 9 spots gained overall. Ben Roberts still going back out. Damon Woods, he'll dive it back to the inside. This is down at turn 12 where Woods tipped it in from the outside and stole the position away from Ben Roberts. They're still going toe-and-toe, and Rat-Ray White. The thing is now, when they get back to the start-finish line, it will be white flag. It will be one more lap left to go from the Sachsenring, and now it's going to be crawling all over the curbs from David Roberts. Didn't get the drive he was looking for up the hill. Dragged the car across the curbs, and it was not an easy run. Now he's going to have to hold off Ben Roberts. Roberts was close enough to show the front wing to him last lap. This lap won't quite be there, and that means there's a little bit more work. He's got an extra car length or so to play with. Rat-Ray White now has Dylan Burstiver back to his inside. A long way. There was definitely contact in the middle of all that one, and they're coming to blows in the final lap of the race over the podium spots.
Yeah, that was a bit of a real dive bomb, but it was good. It unfortunately ran a little bit wide. Rat-Ray White was very smart, gave him the room, and avoided the incident. But that was a pretty deep dive by Burst there in that last corner. So can Rat-Ray White do it again? He passed him down here last lap. Can he do it again this lap?
Well, he's going to get closer and closer to the rear wing now. Starts to build a little bit of a margin, does Bill and Burst. Carried a touch more speed. Now Rat-Ray White's going to have to try and find the momentum. Ben Roberts is going to sling it down to the inside. He's going to run out of time. There's no way he'll get the job done at the final corner, so it's going to be another Damon Woods win. But have a look at Dylan Burst. Rat-Ray White pins him to the inside of the road. Now he'll try and go the long way around at turn 12. Does he have a touch more downforce on? Forces him all the way to the curb and beyond. They're neck and neck. They're even. There's nothing in this. They get to the final corner. corner. Did Burrs get in a touch too hot? Rattray White doesn't find the grip. Dylan Burrs comes and nicks one back on the final lap of the race. Gets to the podium just from Rattray White. But how about that for a final lap Duke to the line?
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, both from the front and the back. Now they're having a little, I don't know whether that's fun or a bit of aggro, but either way, fantastic finish from them all, and really nice drive by Kane Ryder to take 5th position there, and I was impressed with that. I don't know about you, but I was impressed with that last lap. Ooh.
Certainly think that was a phenomenal race between the two of them, and this is the run as they built it up to the final sector. You can just see Burst just a touch wide, didn't quite carry the momentum. He had the initial drive and then it kicked in. Rattray White's gone around the outside but tried to pin him a little bit to the inside, didn't try to give him as much room as he could. But then the difficult part was here. Did Burst kind of maybe didn't leave enough room to the edge of the track? It's tight racing, it's tough racing. And then there's just no grip around the outside of the final corner, and that was the issue for Rattray White. Had to have the nose in front before they got there. Didn't quite get that marker, and that's what it came down to.
Yep, very, very close. But still, to drive from 12th to 4th in this sort of competition is a bloody impressive drive. So there, Kane Ryder 5th, Geordie Slater in 6th. What a great run from Geordie as well tonight. Jordan Mazzaroli. Now, Mazzaroli was way down the grid. Way down the grid. Driven up to 7th place. What a brilliant result. So Mazzaroli started 19th. He's driven through 12 cars to get himself up to 7th place. Brilliant drive. Vaughan Ryder, 8th place. Again, came from back down the grid a little bit. He was 14th, so that's pretty good effort from him as well. Kalea hung in there, got a 9th, another top 10, and Seth Burchardt, didn't hear a lot of him tonight, but he's nailed himself a top 10 finish.
Yeah, so that's the top 10 is how they looked. Alexander Wilson will be the first car home outside of the top 10. Mitchell Albert did a strong drive as well. He started out of 28th spot in the grid, gained 16 spots to finish in 12th spot. That might just be the most overtakes on the night. Thomas Donahue, Hayden Millington, we saw were involved in so much drama for Millington, so much contact slid down the field, as did Isaac Becker. Corey Bennett from Callum Newton, Alex Beswick. Rishab Banerjee will finish just off the lead lap, the only driver to finish 1 lap down. Chase Saxield, 2 laps down for him, unfortunately, with damage, as was Chris Mitchell at 6 laps down. Hans for Taylor didn't finish the race. We get into the retirements here from Danny Davis and Job Stewart. Dramas very, very early on, unfortunately for him. Kalen Chin as well, with the damage, didn't get back out there from Varndell. Eddie Beswick was another retirement early on, a couple laps into the race, and Byron Phillips on lap 1, all over and done with for him. Right, getting into the interview portion of the evening. We'll start off of the top step of the podium tonight's race. Winner 2 weeks in a row, and it's been a whole host of weeks in a row when we throw it back through the Formula Ford season. Damon Woods, that was a little bit of a blockbuster. How is that one going toe-to-toe with Benny Roberts?
It was awesome fun. It's the first time I've had teammates to, be rear gunner towards the end of one of these races, so it was a bit of a different kind of battle, but definitely heaps of fun. I definitely went full risk to try and pull that move on the outside there, but it paid off in the end, and we bagged some more points.
Mate, how good was it with both of you going for the fuel save strategy as well? We were sort of watching, and Ben was just sort of playing the games, and you played them back and forth as well. It's a little bit of playing a poker face. Don't want to go too hard too early and show all your cards.
Yeah, I mean, this format, the pit stop format really shakes up the race. Usually it would have been a flat out sprint where I would have been, pushing 110%, trying to build a gap, or, try and keep as much of a gap to Ben as possible. But, I mean, preferably I would like to make it a sprint race, just because, it kind of falls into my cards a little bit more with the pace that I've got. But definitely the pit stop shakes it up, and to be honest, it's producing some really good racing, so can't really complain.
Mate, in terms of things, do you say that it challenges a different skill? Is it... I like the fact that it's asking more from you guys as drivers as well, because it's a different skill set, right? That's what you're saying. It's a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, but time to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I've done plenty of pit stops, over my time, especially in GT3 stuff. But yeah, definitely in the short format racing, to be having to push 110% to the pit entry line is insane. So I played that pit entry pretty safe, and when I was speaking to Ben, he said that he committed pretty hard. So yeah, that kind of stuff plays into it, and that's why we had that 8/10 gap after I came out the stop. So but yeah, it provides a new avenue for others to gain advantage.
Now, Damon, while we've got you too, we're noticing a new livery tonight and a sponsor on the side. Is there a story to that?
Well, it should be a door / Eclipse livery, but clearly Trading Paints had other ideas. I was using that livery in the F4 Global Championship on Sunday morning, so yeah, it was meant to be a different livery, but yeah, with the Falcon, it's just the door lends their drivers to Falcon tires to do special events and high profile events. So unfortunately, it's not a personal sponsor. I would love to have them on board and try and get me out racing in the real world a bit more, but yeah, so far it's only sim related and yeah, just driving for them.
Mate, finally, congratulations on another race win. Who'd you like to thank here tonight?
As always, I got to thank the Door Esports crew. They're fantastic with all their support that they give me. The Eclipse boys for always giving me a good laugh whilst we're racing, so big thanks to them, and the FRG crew for always putting on a fantastic event. So yeah, cheers, boys.
Thank you very much for your time, Damon, and enjoy, mate. We'll see you next week from Laguna Seca.
Thank you. See you next week, boys.
Take one step further down the rostrum. Chatting to the driver finishes second tonight, but had a phenomenal battle with that of our race winner, Ben. You got him on the pit lane exit, but he managed to get you back out on track.
Yeah, he just always finds a way to get me. Somehow, some way, Damon always gets me. But yeah, it's always great racing with him. You know, it's going to be hard, but it's going to be clean and fair. So, you know, I'll take a P2 at least.
Mate, the challenge in going toe-to-toe for 30 minutes around here, there is a pit stop that comes in the middle of it, but 30 minutes of just nearly pushing flat out, but at the same time trying to fuel save. You threw some games at Damon here tonight, but you've got to do that. When you're at this level, you've got to look for every tiny little advantage that you can go for, and fuel saving's one of those.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, even in a car like this, where you're not using a lot of fuel per lap anyway, it's only 0.8 of a litre, but you know, every little advantage you can get counts.
Mate, so next week we're off to Laguna Seca with the phenomenal corkscrew, as well as all the challenges of the Andretti hairpin and everything else that goes on around the lap. Confidence level heading there?
Yeah, I think last time sort of FRG had F4 there, I made the cover photo on Facebook being out in the dirt on the exit of turn 2. So it was a bit rough, but it's always a lot of fun, that track. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Mate, congratulations on another solid result here tonight. Who'd you like to thank?
Of course, DPR, all our sponsors, MP Design, Southwell Lift and Hoist, Ben Max Mechanical. Thanks to you guys for broadcasting this, and of course FRG and all the race control for allowing this to run as well as it does.
Mate, congratulations, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks very much, boys.
All right, we'll take one step further down on the podium, and there may have been a post-race penalty, I'm getting the feeling, applied that's potentially changed up our bottom step on the podium, because Zach Rattray White's along for a little bit of a chat. And Zach, talk us through this one. Fourth home on the road. Was there a little bit of an adjustment to the post-race standings?
No, I'm actually here just to do the post-race interview on behalf of Dylan Burse. So, yeah. Because, yeah, it was a good race, so figured I'd just jump in and... yeah.
Mate, it was back and forth between the two of you guys, and then obviously trading paint, so that's all a little bit of tongue-in-cheek and whatnot after the start-finish line. We were wondering what was going on there, but you guys drove it, had a really, really good battle there after the final pit stop.
Yeah, we were swapping paint for a little bit. I was just waiting for the bit of contact that would send me skywards, so... yeah, it didn't happen, but yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with it, considering where we started, both of us.
We were talking about that outside the top 10. A fair few overtakes to make. There was a couple of incidents ahead that sort of helped certainly get further towards the front, mate, but a lot of overtakes on the night coming from deeper in the field. I'm assuming that there'll be a little bit more work going to qualify next week from Laguna Seca.
Didn't really have too much time to prep for this thing. Like I said last week, hadn't even turned a lap here before, so Laguna's a bit of a special track for me, so yeah, should go a little bit better.
Well, mate, finally, the floor is all yours to give any thank yous and shout outs you'd like to hand out.
Yeah, thanks to VM firstly, but since this is Dylan's interview, I'd like to thank Eclipse Simsports. So yeah, shout out to them.
Mate, congratulations, and looks like you had a ton of fun. We'll see you again next week.
Easy, mate. See you then.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to bring us to the conclusion of round number 2 for the Formula 4 Esports Australian Championship. Qualifying will begin for the sport category, and we just about filled the grid here tonight, which means that your times might be important. Register over on the Discord. Dave, how can the drivers get involved?
Just get onto the FRG Esports Discord channel. You go on there, register yourself with an entry to F4, and turn up on a Sunday evening. See if you can qualify in the top 30 if you can. Come back Monday night and you're on TV.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, join in, run your qualifying laps, because next time out we will head underneath the Firestone Bridge to one of the coveted tracks in America. Right now it plays host to a whole bunch of interesting events, including IMSA racing, IndyCar racing, and of course Porsche-styled events. Who is going to take home the trophy when we head out to Laguna Seca, and the wild ride of tumbling down as you fall several stories down through the corkscrew. Perhaps drama might come about in the Andretti hairpin on the run down to turn number 1. It's a tight technical track. Little cars like this make for spicy racing. That much is for sure. Join us next week on Monday, October 7th, as we go into daylight savings time as well. So for our Queensland viewers and the other viewers not participating in daylight savings, there will be an adjustment to the time. For all the guys that are in daylight savings mode, we will move to 8:25 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight time next week. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for Formula 4 Esports Australian Championship. This has been round number 2 from the Sachsenring in Germany. On behalf of FRG and behind of everyone who makes it possible for this league, from the broadcast team, big shout out to Jay, who always sits in behind the scenes, laughs at us when we make boo-boos and makes all the pictures nice and pretty. For you guys, thank you for joining me yet again, Dave Roberts.
Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Jay. See you next week.
See you all next week, ladies and gents. See you then.
It's motorsport, but not as you know it. Test yourself and your everyday road car. Safe, affordable, but most of all, fun. And all you need is your daily driver. Experience the thrill of a sprint day. Race against the clock at a hill climb. Or test your reflexes with an auto test. It takes just 3 simple steps to get started. Get on the start line. Search Motorsport Australia Daily Driver today.